Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning on this Friday. How we doing?
So, let's see here. I got to do some accounting. You took the Bucks to cover the 5.5 points spread. That's what you told me. You took the Bucks. You had a close score, and you were wrong. I said the Suns would cover, and I was right, so you owe me 2 cases. That's how you do it to me every day. You got this Shannon Sharpe Memorial revisionist history. You say, that cost you 2 cases. I say, we didn't even bet on it.
But I see you coming, so I already know you're going to give me them sucker bets, so I just like going and throw them out there. You just,
really?
And you bite on them. So I got something for your Sunday, too, just in case.
Do you good. I'm ready for Sunday.
Got something quick. Are we good with the accounting? We're good? Okay, I'm apparently wearing Suns colors subconsciously. This is the color I went with today because the Suns took advantage, yes they did, of home court advantage and went up 2-0 last night with a 118-108 win over the Bucks last night. Giannis at a game-high 42 points, but it was the Suns' combination of 81 points from Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Mikal Bridges that was too much for Milwaukee to handle. Shannon, what's the biggest reason the Suns went up 2-0 here?
Again, Skip, I talked about this earlier. I felt the backcourts were going to be the determining factor. Giannis is going to get his points because they really don't have anybody that can stop Giannis one-on-one. Giannis is basically what he did in the regular season, 28 points, 12, 13 rebounds, five assists. So Giannis is going to be Giannis. The question was, can Holiday, can Middleton, can they help him? And what we've seen from the first 2 games, Book and CP3 has been sensational. And last night, the first night, it was Ayton. They gave him 22 and 19. Last night, it was Mikal Bridges that gave him 22 points. So who's going to come along with Giannis? Who's going to help Giannis? Giannis is averaging, 32 and 14 and 5. Skip, he can't do any more than that. But you look at Middleton, you look at Holiday. You can't win with this, Skip. 5 of 16, 11 points. Holiday, 7 of 21, 17 points, and he got 7 of those in the fourth quarter. And every time Milwaukee make a run, CP3 or Book or somebody from the Suns snuff it out. Skip, they got an opportunity. They got it down to 6. They get a couple of, the Suns get a couple of offensive rebounds. CP3 wide open in the corner. Hits a 3. Now it's back to 9. Milwaukee missed, come back down, led up a nice 11, and now Bud got to call a timeout. It seems like every time Milwaukee tries to counter, the Suns has another counter. The Suns are a really good basketball team. They're playing extremely well. And in the third quarter, Book and CP3 scores 22 or the 32. That's just too good when you're not getting what the production that you need from Middleton and Holiday. Skip, I've never seen anything like Chris Middleton in my life. And I followed the game of basketball for a very long time. But I think the thing is for us is that we keep trying to make him a superstar. And he's a very good player, but he's not going to give you the consistency of a superstar. So we got to stop it. Man, why is he so inconsistent? There's a reason why he went in the second round, Skip. There's a reason why he was a throw-in on the trade. He wasn't the big part of the trade. He was the throw-in. So, and that's us. Well, I'm a part of the reason, but you keep looking, man, he's an all-star, though. All-stars are not supposed to have the heckle and jekyll like this because we've seen him be great. We've seen him go get 50. We've seen him get 38 and basically carried the Bucks down the stretch. And then we look at it like, bro, you do realize that this is the NBA Finals. This is not a regular season game here. Holiday, Skip, I don't know what Holiday. He got up 14 shots in the first quarter. He should not have as many shots as Giannis. He should not. And Bud, bruh, do you realize that they're shooting the threes? They're making the threes. The only reason they're in the game in the first quarter, Skip, is that the 3 ball. Because Milwaukee is killing them on the glass. Offensive rebound after offensive rebound. Giannis is attacking the rim. But all of a sudden, they don't want to guard the 3. And they just hit 3 after 3 after 3. They're 6 and 6 in the first quarter. Kept them in the ball game. Now they go on this run in the second quarter, open the ball game up because they play it basically to a standstill in the second half. But the second quarter was the determining factor. But I believe the main reason that they won was because Book and CP3 was sensational again down the stretch. 14 of 26 in the second half, 53%. You let somebody shoot 53%, you're going to lose.
So, would you say that Giannis had a great game last night?
I thought Giannis played, Skip, He's going to be bad from the free throw line. Skip, I wish he could put one of these 16 to 18 free throw games together. I do. I wish he wouldn't shoot 5 threes and only one goes in, but the others are so bad. I wish that would happen. But Skip, he is what he is from the free throw line. I've given up saying he's going to be a 70% free throw shooter again.
Okay. So let's presume, because the world is going to leap to this conclusion, that Giannis had a great game last night, at least a great box score game.
Yes.
And he is all about the box score bobs out there, because if you just try to do second-level analytics on Giannis, you start saying 42 and 12. And to your point, for the first 2 games, he's averaging whatever it is, 30.
Like 31 that he had 20. So.
Okay. I got it, but I don't get it. I stand by what I said going into this series. This team is not as good with Giannis as the centerpiece of it. I got to see it with my own 2 eyes. I got to eye test it in games 5 and 6 when their backs were up against the wall, because it felt like the Hawks had seized momentum in that series. And we saw what happened when the Hawks seized momentum against the Sixers. They took them all apart and left them in ruins with Ben Simmons on the trading block. My point was that this series is going to boil down to what you saw last night. You saw great chemistry with the Suns, right? It's not good, it's great. You see little to no chemistry with the visiting team last night. Am I right about that? It's awkward, it's weird, it's bizarre, but they have no chemistry because their leader is not a leader. And their former All-Stars don't star when the superstar Giannis takes over.
Right.
Because when he takes over, instead of following, they watch. They just stand back in awe, I guess, and they watch Giannis be Giannis. And I will give you this, especially if he can get out on the break and start running downhill at 6'11", long, strong. He is virtually unstoppable because if you're backpedaling, you can't stop him.
No.
If you've planted and you can get 2 in front of him, you got a shot.
Right.
If you can make him shoot jump shots, even though he made a couple last night.
You live with that. I can live with that.
You live. And certainly if you can get him to shoot 5 3-point shots, you can really live with that, because you're going to live to fight another day and another day and another day, because he made 1 out of 5. He also shot 1 that hit nothing but backboard, as in it missed the rim entirely.
It caught it. He got the rebound, put it back in.
He did. And he shot yet another free throw that hit nothing but air, right?
Yes.
So he's going to do that, and it's going to take a little bit of life and momentum out of your team that is watching you superstar at Phoenix in the NBA Finals.
Right.
So I kept trying to explain to everybody, look what happened against Atlanta. Look at the numbers that Chris Middleton and Holiday put up in games 5 and 6 against Atlanta. I'm going to repeat them again. Both guards averaged almost a triple-double in games 5 and 6 against Atlanta. You got to see them in all of their unleashed glory against the Hawks.
Right.
You got to see Middleton go 29, 9, and 8 in those 2 games. That's what he averaged for those 2 games. You got to see Holiday go 26, 8, and 11 assists in those 2 games, because they were free to do what they do.
Right.
They can shoot it, they can star it, they can drive it, they can do whatever they want to do with the basketball, because they don't feel that they are hinged to Giannis anymore.
Right. Okay.
And again, I like Brook Lopez in the low post. We saw him in game 5 go 14 of 18 from the floor. He's obviously not Giannis, but that worked against Capella, who's a pretty good defender, in game 5 against Atlanta. So again, on paper, do I say they're better without Giannis? Well, obviously they're not. I'm just telling you, they play better playoff quality caliber basketball without Giannis, because there's something weird going on here where everybody gets engaged, including Tuck, who will get you 10 or 12 rebounds when Giannis isn't on the floor, because maybe he feels like he's got to play a little more desperately and mix it up more.
Well, normally, Skip, he's playing closer to the basket. If you look at what he's guarding CP3, he's guarding guarding Devin Booker, and those guys are on the perimeter, so his rebounds are going to be down. But you also have to take into account the Hawks aren't the Suns. And you're right. Yes, these guys play different when Giannis isn't on the court. But most teams play. Look at Paul George. Do you believe Paul George would have put up the numbers that he put up had Kawhi in there? Do you believe Reggie Jackson would have put up the numbers? So you look at Paul George.
They were putting up big numbers already.
But they didn't play like they played.
Obviously, Kawhi would have put them over the top.
Right.
And there's no doubt Kawhi is the best player on that team.
Right.
But Paul George is a fairly close second best.
Yeah,
and in this case, you can't really say those two guards.
No, they're not even close. They're not even close to Giannis. I mean, you can make that case about Paul George and Kawhi.
Okay.
You can't make this case about the other two with Giannis.
Okay. But here's the case I do make about Giannis. And again, he seems like a great young man, so this is zero personal. I'm just telling you what my eyes have told me from the start. And this isn't a year ago or 2 or 3. This is going back 4 years ago when I first guessed this. I don't see the intangibles. I don't see the killer will. I don't see the takeover gene in Giannis. He's going to stat you to death. He's going to PER you, player efficiency rating you to death. He is the PER prince. He won back-to-back MVPs, and I got no issue with either of his MVPs because he put up the numbers that qualified him to be the regular season MVP.
Okay.
He has had nothing but flameouts and meltdowns in the postseason, running literally into brick walls and not being able to shoot it well enough from mid-range or certainly from distance or from the free throw line to put his team over the top. So this is classic, what you call about Dak Prescott, empty calories. This is classic. You just stat it to death. Dak Prescott in the first 5 games last year was on a historic pace to throw for 400-plus yards a game. And you know what what was the bottom line? They were horrible, right? Well, I'm not saying Milwaukee's horrible, but were they ever in the game to you last night, except for they made a nice burst in the first quarter? They came out with some energy like, watch this, we're ready. They just out-hustled and out-gutted the Suns in the first quarter. And yet when the smoke cleared, Phoenix was only down 3.
Right.
And then here came Phoenix, and they go on a 44-24 run. This is why they're just so much better.
That broke the game open.
It just broke but you watch it happen. It unfurls before your very eyes, and you say, boy, Giannis is having a great game, a great game, a great game. Well, wait a second. It's 44-24, and all of a sudden at halftime, they're down 11. And in the second half, they would chip away and make a little run, but they never could get it over the top where they got it back to 2 or tied or up 2 because there's something missing in this team. You don't get the feeling that they're going to feed off Giannis. Giannis can feed himself. You know, he can feed like crazy. And I got to say, your man Ayton last night did not show up for that game.
No.
He came with low energy and low intensity, and it showed all night long. And he wound up with, like 10 points and 11 rebounds? Okay, it's not what we saw in Game 1 from him. And on defense, he was a shell of his Game 1 self against Giannis, and I don't know why. It's that classic big man 7-footer, and he's still young, and he has to really lock in before the game. Like they have to get him fired up.
Well, Skip, he's going to have to understand. Okay, you had a great 1 game.
Yeah, that's it. I agree.
But you had 1 game.
You had 1 game.
It's not that you don't think Giannis is going to come back?
Right.
Because he heard, Ayton did a great job on Giannis. He did a great job on Giannis. Giannis is like, no, he didn't. I just didn't take enough shots. And we knew Giannis was going to be ultra aggressive. But Skip, I asked you yesterday, I say, Skip, what happens if, I said, what will you say if Giannis gives you 40, 15, and 5? You're going to say, well, he played great, and I'm going to look at the other guys. But still, he gave you 40, 12, and 4.
He played great, and I'm going to look at the final score. That's all I care about. But they lost by double digits. They lost by double digits. It's it. Period. End of story.
But you were just hyping the guys, Middleton. You were just hyping Holiday. What did they give you?
I just told you what they didn't give you because they watch. They don't follow. They don't feed off. They don't thrive on. They just watch. It's the weirdest dynamic. And they don't seem to be inspired. And there was a moment in the second quarter when it looked like Phoenix was about to take it over, and Ayton finally got free for a lob dunk. And it's like 7 minutes left in the second quarter. And if we could see this, Giannis goes to the bench, and he starts screaming at the sideline huddle. And yelling, we got to take this more seriously, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's just a bunch of cliches. And it just looks like to me that they're tuning him out the way they do Budenholzer, because I don't think they listen to Bud, and I don't think they listen to Giannis. He doesn't have that alpha quality leadership that people fear. There's no fear factor. Obviously, if I go all the way to the top, if Jordan ever did that, he would never grandstand like that. He would just lean over to somebody and say, get your you-know-what in gear. And it would hit home because they were afraid of him. Do you think anybody's afraid of Giannis, who mean mugs after a dunk, runs up the court? They don't have respect bordering on fear for his leadership intangibles. He's not the leader of this team, and I'm not sure anybody is, and that's the problem. They have talent, obviously, or they wouldn't be able to do what they keep doing in the Eastern Conference. But when they keep running into a Toronto 2 years ago or a Miami last year, look what happens. They all shrink, and they just fade into the background, and it's all on Giannis. And again, arguably, he was the best player on the floor. And what did that get you?
Nothing.
What did it get you in game one when he was still pretty good in game one? What did it get you? You lost by 13.
Giannis is one of the 4 players that's had a 40-10 game and lost in the finals. So what that tells you is that I don't care how great you are as an individual, you're not beating 5. LeBron has 3 such games. We saw what Kevin Durant did. Even the great Kevin Durant, 1-on-5 is not going to win you a game. So until Holiday, until Middleton, that you keep informing me, they're all-stars. Middleton has been an all-star the last 2 years. Holiday has been an all-star, although it's been a while ago. Skip, until they give him something, they're not going to win.
Did they look like all-stars against Atlanta in 5 and 6?
Skip,
yes.
Atlanta.
Yes.
So what about now? You don't get to lift. Well, I played really good 3 years ago, so but I'm good. No, you don't get to be a made man on what you did weeks ago. What are you doing right now? Look at Book. Look at CP3. CP3 didn't look like this against the Lakers, but it doesn't matter. Look at what he did against the Clippers in the closeout game. Look at what he's done these past 2 games. That's what you got to base it on, Skip. You can't keep living in the past. Giannis is putting up these numbers game after game after game, and he's not getting help.
So think about this. Once again, the Bucks out-rebounded Phoenix at Phoenix for both games. It was closer last night. It was 46-43, but they won the backcourt.
At one point in time, Skip, they were up by 10.
They were.
But you remember that last sequence in the fourth quarter when they needed to get them offensive rebounds?
I'm going to get to that in just a second. Bench points. Last night, Milwaukee's bench outscored Phoenix's bench 23-16. And if we go back to game one, again, the Suns got way outshot at the three-point line in game one, and it didn't matter. And none of these stats I just gave you mattered last night because they lost by 13 in game 1 and 10 last night. Why is that? Because the team won't go with Giannis. Somehow they don't respond to him. So in the end, when it looked like they could make a little push, who is the opposite of Giannis on the Suns to me in the way he's built with backbone and clutch toughness? It's Devin Booker.
Yeah.
He is serious business to me. So if we could see, every time it looked like Milwaukee might make a little bit of run in the fourth quarter, can we see what Devin Booker, who's not a great three-point shooter, maybe he'll become one, but here's what he did. There's the first one. That's pretty deep, actually. And then here's the second one.
I don't know what Middleton was doing with that skill.
I don't either. And he's a good defender, and they just completely blew the defense.
Leave a man wide open like that. And Giannis just turns his head and drops his head.
Those are 3 points where you've cut it to 6, you've cut it to 7, you've cut it to 10. And he just says no, and double no, right? And it's 3 straight. That's 941, 749, and 718. Well, it's just boom, 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 and it just shoots the heart out of you. As Mikal Bridges said after the game, he just melted them down by himself because they look like they're melting.
Yes.
They look around at each other like, God.
It's tough, Skip. We fought so hard. We clawed back. We were down 15. We clawed back. All we got to do is get a stop. Or a 6-point game might be a 4-point game. Might be a 3-point game. And he goes boom, boom, boom. And I got nothing. I'm done.
Then there was that later sequence when it looked like the Bucks had sort of creeped back into the game. And it's CP3 shot in the end. But if we could see the whole possession, this is with 4:10 left. It's just that they miss a couple of shots and they get a couple of offensive rebounds. First, it's Chris miss. And offensive rebound, you got to hustle for that. And
you got 3 guys. One guy comes up, misses, gets Ayton.
Bridges missed, and Ayton gets the rebound, and Chris is at the shot clock and buries a 3, and that's not his shot.
No.
How many times you see Chris in the corner because he never gets to the corner?
Right.
It's not their offense for the point guard to get to the corner 3.
Right.
And it's not his shot, and he made his shot because they have been making the shots they have to make. Giannis, to me, in all he's been in the league 8 years, he doesn't make enough of the shots or the plays to turn the game around because you wait for him. And yet, I look at his numbers in the fourth quarter, he made 5 out of 6 shots.
Yes.
I can't remember them, but he made 5 out of 6 shots. Well, that's great.
Right.
But what happened? What's the outcome? The outcome is you're in an 0-2 hole. You're going home. And now it's going to be up to Giannis to even be better at home. He's going to have to be better, and you'd hope his role players will somehow be more inspired by him at home.
Skip, Chris Middleton gave you 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And you look at what they're shooting for the series. Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday, 9 of 39 from the 3.
Okay,
Skip,
I got it. I'm going to remind everybody, that's the same Chris Middleton who in Game 3 at Atlanta on the road scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. That's the same Chris Middleton who in Game 6 at Atlanta on the road before a hostile crowd, a crazed crowd, he scored 23 in the third quarter to blow the game open, right?
That's the same
That's the guy.
That's the same Chris Middleton that in Game 1 against Atlanta shot 6 of 23. That's the same Chris Middleton Game 1 against the Nets that shot 6 of 25. That's the same Chris Middleton that shot 7 of 23 in Game 2. That's the same Chris Middleton.
And who hit the biggest shot in Game 7 against Brooklyn?
Skip.
Chris Middleton.
So when is he going to do that? When is he going to play like he played in Atlanta with the 23-point quarter, the 20-point quarter, the big shot against the Nets? When is he going to play like that in this series? Because if he doesn't, they're not going to win.
Okay. Bottom line, I don't believe he or Holiday or Tuck or anybody else just loves playing with Giannis. And I believe the Suns absolutely love playing together. I just think this is the most fun any of them have ever had on a basketball court.
Skip, I mean, you're in the NBA Finals. What's not to love? You finally gotten over the hump. You bring in Holiday because he's supposed to be that third missing piece. Bledsoe, you say, Bledsoe can't get it done. We got a guy can defend and a guy that can go get you 20. Okay, you got Middleton, that's an all-star that gave you 20 plus. Giannis is giving you 28 and 12. So what's not to love? You ain't got to. I mean, I think Giannis is a likable guy. I just think Middleton and Holiday hasn't been well. They've been. Holiday wasn't, Skip. I mean, you could pick those 1 or 2 games that Holiday played well, but if you look at his overall playoff, he's been terrible.
Yet, I told you going into Game 1, the game to steal was the game I thought they wouldn't have Giannis in because I didn't think he'd be ready. You thought he'd be more like Game 3-ish before he would come back. And I was shocked at tip-off. He walked out there and jump balled and was off to the races and looked pretty good.
Does he look... If I didn't tell you, Skip, that he missed a week because of that injury, would you know?
Not at all. No, he looks 100%.
He looks 100%.
I know he was grabbing his knee a couple times last night, but it didn't seem to affect his mobility. And yet, remember, in Game 1, Jay Crowder went 0 for 5 from 3. In Game 1, Devin Booker went 1 for 8 from 3. They're saying, here, Milwaukee, we give you a shot. The door is wide open, and Milwaukee couldn't walk through that door.
And what was the likelihood that Devin Booker shoot that bad from 3 again? What was the likelihood that Jay Crowder
go over? We both agreed yesterday that's not going to happen again.
Jay Crowder, all of a sudden, now he goes 3 of 5 from the 3.
Okay, and you're done.
You better get somebody to come along with Giannis.
Well, I got it.
Your guy Middleton, he need to give you one of those quarters that he gave.
Guy.
No. Yes, his guy.
Not my guy.
Holiday.
No mercy.
Devin Booker finished last night with a game-high 31 points that included 9 in the fourth quarter on 3 of 4 shooting from beyond the arc. And Booker has averaged over 25 points a game the past 3 seasons. And Skip has said before that he will eventually win a regular season MVP. So, Shannon, can you see Booker winning a regular season MVP in his career at this point?
Skip, if you think about it, he had a sensational year. But who got the MVP votes? CP3. I mean,
because of the turnaround.
Right. I think it's going to be, I say there's probably a 25% chance, Skip, because Giannis is always going to have these sensational numbers, and his team's going to win. Luka is always going to have Gotti number. Your guy, Joel Embiid, is going to be basically 28 and 12 with, playing sensational defense.
And making 85% of free throws.
Nikola Jokic. We saw Steph finish second this year. With Klay back, he's going to be in the running again because I believe they'll finish with a better record. They finish with a better record. They get one of the top 3 seeds. He's going to be in the running. So for me, Skip, now on the other side, I think it's going to be very difficult for KD and Harden because they play together along with Kyrie. So I think they cut each other up and they take some of the votes from one another. So it's going to be very difficult for one of those guys to win the MVP. But Skip, I'm going to say there's a 25% chance because it's just hard with CP3 because they were like, well, CP3 is the reason why this thing worked. I do believe that Booker is their best player, but their most important player is CP3. I don't believe they're where they are because we saw what he did in game 1, and he's that calming effect, Skip. For what I mean, I think for the first time last night, Skip, I thought I saw him being bothered with that wrist on his left hand. He's not as fluid with handling the ball like he was before he took that spill. I think he took it in game 1. Now he comes out with the black tape on it because I think it's giving him a little bit of a problem, but he doesn't make excuses for that. And the Western Conference is just loaded at the guard position. You still got Dame. You still got Steph. You still got Book, Kawhi, Paul George. All these guys are in the Western Conference, Skip. So overall, I'm going to say there's a 25% chance that he does win an MVP at some point in time in his career.
Okay, Devin Booker is all of 24 years of age. He's ending his 6th season in this league. I believe in this kid's potential all-time greatness. I think we're seeing his potential being realized right before your very eyes.
Okay.
He made most of the key shots last night. The stop shots where he just broke Milwaukee's momentum. And I love what he's made of. They say he's an old soul, and he handles himself with maturity way beyond 24 years of age. He's so stable. He's so committed. He's so driven. He's got that clutch toughness that comes with an NBA playoff backbone that he was just born with. Maybe he got some of it from his father. And I told you, he's the opposite to me of Giannis in intangibles because I believe in these are bedrock intangibles that you can count on, depend on, and build on.
Well, Skip, you finally make the ball game. He's going to go to the free throw line and make his shot. That's the one thing. See, you see what they were doing with Giannis. He get close to the basket, they tie him up. We'll let you go 1 or 2.
So I got in a big battle in my days on the old network after Kentucky lost to Wisconsin in the national semifinal. It was Devin's year there with what was a team that went, what were they, 38-0?
Yeah, they were undefeated with Karl Anthony Towns and those guys.
And the Harrison twins. And they started over Devin Booker, who started 0 games that year. But every time he got to play his 15 or 20 minutes, that jump shot was as pure as you will ever see. So I got in a battle, should he be a lottery pick? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, somebody will steal him if they get him at the back end of the lottery, and he went 13th overall to Phoenix. And would you say that's a steal? I would say. So you could see the shot coming. You just couldn't see the impact because for whatever reason, maybe Calipari would tell you now, maybe I missed that one. Maybe I should have given him a little more run. It's just difficult because you got the twins starting, and it's hard to break up the brothers, and and they were having such success during the year. It's hard to argue with that.
Skip, I think evaluating basketball players is harder than football players. Skip, ain't no guy gonna sit on the bench and go in the first round. I mean, the guy didn't start, and he went in the first. He went to the tail end of the lottery. And so how do we know? Like, you know what? I think if we give him some run, he gets 35, 40 minutes a night. He could be really good. How? When he doesn't start, he's averaging what? What do he average? 10, 11 points a game?
10.
And you think
10, 2 rebounds and 1 assist. And you say, you're going to take him 13th overall? What are you thinking?
And he goes from averaging 2 points coming off the bench in Kentucky to averaging 25 and starting, and he's an all-star.
Okay. So my biggest issue with him so far has been he's not a very good three-point shooter. And this year, he's 35% for his career, but this year he's only 34%, which ranked 136th of 156. Well, LeBron was even a little better, and Trey was slightly, just a tick better. They were ranked 110th and 133rd. Luka was a little bit better. So the point is, when we talked about him going into this series, I said, well, I got an issue with that because he's still 35% for the playoffs.
Right.
But what I love about him is he showed some range last night I didn't know he had from three, and I don't think he's exploited that yet.
Right.
And we always see the great ones. We see the Magics and the Michaels take an off season and say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to improve. I'm going to add this to my arsenal. Kobe, that's a good one because that's obviously his idol and mentor.
Right.
And again, he's riding on his shoes, you know.
Be legendary.
Be legendary. And he'll get nothing but better from three because I saw it last night. Those were big time NBA Finals.
Well, Skip, you remember the closeout game against the Lakers?
Yes, sir.
He went what, 8 or 9?
He did.
So
8 or 9.
The
bigger the moment, it seems like the hotter he gets and the deeper his threes get.
What I love about him, Skip, that he doesn't fall in love with it.
No, he doesn't.
He's still trying to get to the mid-range.
Okay.
He'll still try to get to the basket.
Thank you. So this year, from what I would call real mid-range, which is 10 feet to 14 feet, these are mid-range jump shots. He was second in the league to, guess who? Kevin Durant, who is the greatest mid-range shooter I've ever seen and the most unstoppable because he's 7 feet tall and shoots the ball like 8 feet above his head. Well, you can't stop that. Book is 6'5", which is plenty tall enough. He's not Kobe 6'7". Kobe had a couple of big inches on him.
But he does elevate. If you look at him, he's shooting a jump shot.
Jump shot. It is a true, pure jump shot.
Yes.
And it's as pretty and as perfect a jump shot as you will ever see.
Yes.
That's what I loved about him at Kentucky. So the point is that a lot of people are also missing the other part of his game. Do you realize in defensive win shares, he's now ranked 4th in the playoffs? He is improving dramatically and rapidly on defense. I will bet you next year he makes an all-defense team. I don't know if it'll be first, second, or third team, but he'll make an all-defensive team. So now we talk about MVP. Well, to get one, he's going to have to lead the league in scoring. Is that possible? So the last 3 years, he's been averaging around 26.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do 30-something.
Yeah, you have to be in the 30s now. That's where you need to lead the league, Okay,
let's go back to his idol and mentor, Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant. At age 29, Kobe Bryant finally broke through and won his first MVP. He averaged 28, 6, and 5. Well, that's not all that off. This year, Devin was 26, 4, and 4. So it's not that. Now, Kobe had a year in which his biggest year was 35.
Right.
So he's still going to have to take it up a notch, which he is highly capable of doing.
Right.
And if you can, that year, Kobe made first team all defense, and don't tell me that didn't contribute to the package for MVP.
But I think the thing is, Skip, now is that you have more scorers, more guys that can just go get you buckets than what you had with Kobe. Because you got probably 10 guys, Skip, that can average 30 points a game. Sure. From KD to Harden to Dame to Steph Curry. So you look at Embiid, Giannis. So we've seen those guys. So we know they can just go get you 30. He's going to, like you said, he's going to have to average 30. He's going to have his team, and he already did. I mean, they were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. So he's going to have to be there, Skip. Yeah. But it's going to be tough because the league is just getting better and better. These guys are really skilled.
But this guy has all-timeness to him. He's got that kind of bedrock character to him.
I mean, I love it. To listen to him talk, I would have never, if I'd have just never saw him, saw him, and just hear his voice, I would think he's a much older player than what he is.
Absolutely.
He sounds like an old soul.
Right. And obviously, Chris is the unquestioned leader of this team, and we get that. He's the floor general and all that.
Yes.
But there's something about Devin Booker. He's a co-leader of this team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're starting to look to him, especially in big moments, to say and do the right thing at the right time.
Right. But Monty Williams, I don't think, I still listen to him talk to DeAndre Ayton and listen to him talk, listen to how he talked to his players. I don't think he get enough credit.
I agree. He's pushing all the right buttons. And these aren't strategic buttons. These are psychological buttons. He was all up into Ayton about, I need you in the fourth quarter to take this game
He says,
on.
you're disappointed because the level of play that you expect for yourself.
That is correct.
But that's okay. It's not about, and he says it's not always about scoring now.
No, it's not. It's just about effort.
They're playing really well. Milwaukee's going to have to be on their best behavior. They're going to have to be on their best behavior.
Talk about that.
Yeah. How inspiring was Monty Williams, though? That was such a cool moment to kind of just listen into his coaching style because it all makes sense. I was really inspired. Okay, we're going to move from Devin Booker to Giannis, just 2 years older than Booker. And Giannis did drop a game-high 42 points last night. The Bucks still ended up losing Game 2 to the Suns by 10 points. Milwaukee will have their hands full against Phoenix, who have won 13 of their last 15 playoff games. Shannon, are the Bucks going to get swept?
No, I don't believe they'll get swept. I just think Giannis is going to win them a game, Skip. He got 40, and that was the easiest 40 points that you'll see. 15 or 22. It was not a whole lot of effort because he's going to get to the rim. And it seems to me they're not calling charges anymore because I thought Giannis got away with 2 charges last night. He backed over Chris Paul, and he dipped his shoulder into Cameron Johnson. So those could have been 2 calls, but they let him play on. But Middleton and Holiday, Skip, we talked about Middleton and Holiday being a push for Book and CP3. Hell, they're getting outplayed by Crowder and Bridges. You can't have that. Your second 2 best players can't get outplayed by really back role players. Bridges and Crowder's not going to All-Star games. You guys have been All-Stars. You can't get outplayed. I don't care what Giannis does. Giannis can score 50. But if Middleton and Holiday continue to play like this, Skip, you're right. They will get swept. But I'm thinking going back home, and Chris Middleton, normally when he goes back home, Skip, after stinking it up the first 2 games, we remember what he did against the Nets. The first 2 games, he stunk. He was awful. And then he lit the Nets up the next 2 games at home. I'm expecting that Chris Middleton. I don't know, maybe it's his wife cooking, maybe he gets to sleep in his own bed, maybe it's the water or something. But I'm expecting him to play better than what he's played the first 2 games. And Holiday, Skip, I don't even know what to say, Skip. Because you keep telling, because he's been shooting in the 40%, low 40. He might be in the 30% now. With the way he's shooting the basketball. But I still, with that being said, I don't believe they'll get swept because I believe Middleton will play better. Giannis will be Giannis, give you 30 plus and 15. So I'm going to say no, they don't get swept. But I'm going to need to see something from Holiday and Middleton that I have not seen in the first 2 games.
So the shock of the morning to me was to check the point spread for Game 3 on Sunday evening in Milwaukee. The Bucks are favored by 4.5 points.
What?
And I was like, hold the phone. You're going to go from a 5.5-point dog at Phoenix, and you didn't cover either one of those, and now you're a 4.5-point favorite at home. I don't see it. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. You're going to have to show me, and I'm going to say exactly what I said yesterday to and about Giannis. Just show me. Show me you can lead a team to a big home victory because you should win. If you're 4.5 points, you should win this game.
Skip, 42 and 12 is not
leadership. Right play, right time, saying the right thing to the right teammate to inspire or restart his engine, relight his fire. That's how Magic did it. That's how Bird did it. That's how Michael did it. You just have to do the right things and say the right things at the right time to lead your team. He's by far the best player on his team. He's the best player on the floor. So at home, you have to pick your moments to make the right plays that incite and inspire and ignite the crowd.
Skip.
You have to do it.
Magic never had to give words to Kareem. People don't realize that.
I don't know about that.
No,
I'm not sure.
Do you realize that in the series that Magic's first, Kareem was 32 and 15. That's what he was averaging. James Worthy, McHale, Parrish, they did their job.
Okay.
How about this, Giannis? Middleton, Holiday.
Okay.
What? Don't you know what are you doing?
Well, you saw him in the sideline huddle screaming at him, and I just think they tune him out because they don't believe in his leadership.
Well, go WWE.
They don't think they're true and authentic.
Well, he might need to power drive somebody because Holiday and Middleton are not carrying their weight, Skip. Nobody can say that they're carrying their weight. They're not carrying their weight.
All right, and these might be small factors, but I think they're huge small factors. Sharpe is gone with an ACL.
Yes.
And now it looked like Torrey Craig is gone. That looked bad to me because he is a tough kid.
Yes.
And he needed help.
Yes.
So it didn't look like any sprained knee or tweak. It looked bad. They haven't said yet what it is, but I'm just guessing here he's going to be gone.
Right.
Well,
those are no bodies.
Hey, I mean, these are two big, huge, key cogs in the rotation.
Yeah, you put Kamansky in for 52 seconds, and maybe Nader. Maybe
they have to play now.
Yeah,
they have to play
because you're down your primary two guys off the bench.
Okay, well, you drop down a couple of notches, both, and Nader hasn't been around for a while, but they like him, and he's been playing some limited minutes. So they're going to have to play pretty big because you can't play 5 guys for 48 minutes, right?
And here's the thing, Skip. When you take Ayton out of the ball game and you can't bring Saric in, do you realize how small the Suns are? That's why they got crushed on the glass.
Saric is 6'10".
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got to give Ayton a breather at some point in time. I haven't seen a big man play all 48. So he can't play all 48. Now Saric is gone. Normally, if Saric goes out, you could bring Craig in. So now you're going to be really small because you got Drake Crowder trying to play Giannis. That's a small Skip. You don't normally lose a game by 10 if you get 18 offensive rebounds. They crushed them on the offensive glass.
Okay. Advantage Milwaukee, advantage Milwaukee, advantage Milwaukee.
Yes.
We're going to talk about this in depth later, but I'm just going to guess that Aaron Rodgers makes an appearance because he is a small part owner of the Bucks. And I know he's playing in the Lake Tahoe event. Is your brother playing this?
I don't know if he played. He might be. I don't know.
He usually does. But whatever. This is the big celebrity golf tournament. So I'm not sure he could make it in time. It'll be...
no, he can't make it, Skip, because it's Sunday.
But it's 8 o'clock... Eastern time, not 9 o'clock. It's 8
but
o'clock.
I don't think it ends until like 5 or 6.
It might depend on how close to the lead he is, where his tee time is for the day.
Yeah.
But again, with private jet travel, you might be able to make it. I don't know, but it'll be fascinating to see if he makes an appearance because that could rev up the crowd. Would he bring his fiancée Shailene there? Would that ignite the crowd? The Deer District is going to be inside for the largest part, you know, inside the arena. So here we go. It should be Giannis's evening to take over one big finals game. And if you don't, you are done. I don't think he will be able to ignite his team to a victory here. I think Phoenix is just too good. They're too united. They have too much momentum. They are just steamrolling everybody. And again, the Clippers had every chance to derail them, and they couldn't quite bring it home. And when it was either Chris or Booker, right, left. I just think they're rolling, and Ayton will play far more inspired basketball this Sunday than he did last night.
But Skip, what I'm having a hard time understanding is that you say Giannis, but you told everybody that KD was playing 1-on-5.
He was.
If you look at this, is Giannis not playing 1-on-5? What the hell has Holiday done? What has Middleton done?
Yeah.
He's playing 1-on-5.
Yeah, Connaughton was pretty good, but it didn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
Didn't he make...
he made 4 or 9 for 5 or 10.
That works.
But Skip, you can't... whatever you get from Connaughton is a bonus. You need Holiday and you need Middleton. Just like, because you look what they got. They got Bridges gave them 27. You know what you're going to get from CP3. You know what you're going to get from Book. Okay, now if we get... The first game, you got that from Ayton, 22 and 19. This game, you got it from Bridges. Skip, I'm waiting to see when Holiday going to give me something. When Holiday going to put something on the books.
Okay. I don't like their chemistry. I love Phoenix's. I don't like Milwaukee's. I don't like their hustle or their flow. I don't like either one of those because as the game progressed last night, and certainly the whole game of Game 1, I just didn't like their body language. They look defeated to me. They don't play with great energy or passion or intensity. I just don't see it because the game, even last night, it started to teeter in the fourth quarter, and we saw the one possession that we just looked at where the Phoenix got the 2 offensive rebounds. You just have to want it more than Phoenix, and I don't think they do. And I think they know they're on the verge of collapse.
But here's the thing. You're at home, and those dunks that didn't even raise the volume was going to blow the roof off the place in Milwaukee.
It better.
Those offensive rebounds and putbacks will have added benefit at home as opposed to on the road. I'm not going to be... They're going to cover. They're going to cover. The Bucks going to cover.
They're going to win by more than...
Yes!
Really?
Yes!
I got me 5 cases on that right now.
Oh, you want 5 cases?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I got Giannis. I'll take Giannis for 5.
Do you?
I got 5 on Giannis.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the Suns plus 4.5.
Plus 4.5.
Thank you.
Saw you coming. See, I told you. I just told you at the top of the show. I see you coming. You know you gonna give me these sucker bets all the time. You can't help yourself.
Well, guess who else is coming to Milwaukee? Is my man Lil Wayne, your man Lil Wayne.
Yes.
He's going to be there. He's already got his tickets for courtside. So when he's there, Chris plays in a comfort zone. He is inspired by the presence of one Dwayne Carter.
You know what?
Watch it.
Watch Giannis. Giannis gonna have another one of these games. You see?
He has one of these every night.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So I just need
and
Middleton.
What?
I'm counting on Middleton.
Are you?
Middleton's gonna give me somewhere between 25 and 30.
Okay.
Book it.
I got the Suns, and it's starting to feel like the brooms are coming out.
Ain't no brooms coming. Ain't no brooms coming.
Brooms.
They're not
It's
getting
hard
swept.
to do.
They're not
It's
getting
hard
swept.
to do. The fans are going to come ready.
No mercy.
Well, we know this. The Suns took advantage of home court advantage and went up 2-0 last night with a 118-108 win over the Bucks last night. Giannis had a game-high 42 points, but it was the Suns' combination of 81 points from Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Mikal Bridges that was too much for Milwaukee to handle. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, what's your biggest takeaway from Game 2?
My biggest takeaway is that the great Giannis Antetokounmpo got no help. He got no help. All right, Giannis was spectacular. 42 points, 12 rebounds, 3 block shots, and we'll throw in 4 assists for good measure. And Chris Middleton, Mike Budenholzer's still looking for Chris Middleton. Where was Chris Middleton last night? 11 points? Some people had the nerve to call him the Batman of the team. 11 points? We can't have that. And Drew Holiday answered our call to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
But he left out the second part of the request. Be more aggressive and make shots.
Yes.
All right? He thought he was Kobe Bryant in the first quarter. 9 shots? 9 shots? But Kobe made them. Drew was 3 for 9. And kept shooting. He was 0 for 5 in the second quarter. I mean, he tried.
3 of 14 the first half.
Your second and third best players didn't show up. All right, Giannis, it was a one-man show. That's all there is to it. He was a one-man show, and he's the only Bucks player who had a positive plus-minus. He was +3. Here's how big Giannis was last night. So they're up 33-30, right? We know early on they had the lead. They're up 33-30. Giannis has the audacity to take a 1 minute 57 second break. All right, in that 1 minute and 57 seconds, the Bucks got outscored 9-2. He gets back, they never lead again. He gets back on the floor and they're down and they never lead again. Then in the second half, Giannis played all but 2 minutes and 24 seconds. When he was on the court, they were +8. +8 with Giannis on the court. In the 2:24 that he was off, they were outscored by 7 points. So it was a Giannis Antetokounmpo show. And look, guys, this is a guy that we all know can't shoot jump shots. We all know can't shoot free throws. And he's not like a low post guy a la Shaquille O'Neal where you're just playing him down there and he goes to work on the block. And yet and still, he scored 20 points in the third quarter, the most points in a quarter of an NBA Finals game in the last 25 years. That's amazing for a guy that really doesn't have a go-to shot. That's how all over the floor he was. And he joined Isaiah Thomas in becoming the only players ever to score 30 or more points in the second half of a finals game. Ever. He scored 10 in the fourth, so all those that say, he doesn't score. We know he's not a closer, but he disappears. He had 8 points in the last 5 minutes. So Giannis was a one-man show. If he got a little bit of help from his supporting cast, this might be a 1-1 series.
I totally agree. And I knew he was going to be more aggressive. In game 1, he had 11 shots. He doubled that up. He was 15 of 22. I still think he takes too many threes. I don't know why he would attempt 5 threes because he lets the defense off the hook, Chris. When he takes a 3, I don't care if he makes it. I'm clapping. I was like, yes, he didn't dunk on me. He didn't Euro step me and possibly get an and 1 to get to the free throw line. So he lets you off the hook by taking that shot. And I just don't get when am I going to see Middleton and Holiday? I've given up on Holiday. I just know he's what he is. He's probably shooting 40%, 39% right now. But Middleton's better than this. But he's just so streaky because we saw what happened next. The first two, I'm going to do like Skip. Skip says, you know what? Did you see those games against Atlanta? He had 20 points in the fourth quarter. He had 23 points in a third quarter. Okay. He had 11 points last night in 4 quarters. You tell me what he can do in 1 quarter. Can he do that in 4 quarters? If he gave him 23 points last night, they win the game. If Chris Middleton had 23 points last night, they win the game.
Who was playing? Who was his teammate while he was scoring 23? Who was his starting center that night? Oh, yeah. It was Brook Lopez. Interesting.
Well, he out there looking like J-Lo right now. Do you see what he did last night? How did he look last night? 8 points.
Interesting.
I want you to do with 8 points.
Brook Lopez?
Yeah.
He just goes and stands out at the three-point line. He has to get out of the way.
That's what he's been doing all year, Chris.
Yep.
So
has no choice.
Chris, we asked more of Giannis. Now, I remember somebody, I ain't going to call his name, that said Kevin Durant was playing 1-on-5 because James Harden was hobbled and what's the shooting? Joe Harris couldn't make a shot. TLC couldn't make a shot.
Yeah, but boy, Kevin Durant made a shot. Unfortunately, 1/10 of an inch of his toe was on the line, or we would be having a different conversation because we'd be talking about Kevin Durant in yet another NBA Finals.
Chris, but yet and still, we're having the same conversation. Kevin Durant played historically great, and they lost. Giannis Antetokounmpo last night played historically great, and they lost. Why? Because he didn't have a second, third, or a fourth guy to give him any consistent play. It's as simple as that. 1-on-5 is not winning. Jordan couldn't do it 1-on-5. LeBron couldn't do it 1-on-5. Kevin Durant can't do it 1-on-5. And the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo can't. You know that, and I know that. But I'm going to get this money off you or get these due off you on Sunday, though.
Good. Good luck.
I'm going to get this due off you on Sunday.
As Liam Neeson said in Taken, good luck.
Okay,
He didn't say it. The guy said it to him.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Broussard. So I give you this. Last night, your man Giannis was a combination of Shaq and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Hakeem Olajuwon. I've never seen anything like this man. He dominated in ways that were historically great, unheard of, unprecedented. And they lost by 10. Why did they lose by 10? Because I first guessed this. I watched with my own eyes, with no Giannis in the lineup, no Giannis available in games 5 and 6 against Atlanta. I watched Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday say, aha, we're free. We're unleashed. We can be all-stars again because we don't have to worry about our superstar. And what did they do? They went all-star on the Hawks. What did they do in those last 2 games? They almost each averaged a triple-double. I'll just give you the numbers. Chris Middleton, last 2 games against Atlanta, 29, 9, and 8. Holiday against Atlanta, 5 and 6. 26, 8, and 11. They almost averaged triple-doubles, both of them. They were sensational, and Chris Middleton had 2 breakout away from home quarters on the road in that crazy atmosphere in Atlanta, in which he did, as Shannon pointed out, scored 20 in a fourth quarter at Atlanta and then 23 in the closeout game in the third quarter at Atlanta. They're different humans without Giannis in the lineup. Giannis is an all-time great. He's freakishly talented. We give you Greek freakishly talented, but he lacks takeover intangibles. There's no killer will to him. There aren't the kind of Jordan-esque intangibles that you make the shot at the moment to win the game on the road in that place. He's not built like that. He never has been. His team does not follow this leader. They just watch this leader. Last night was classic. Their body language starting in the second quarter was just abominable because the greater Giannis played, the more they stood and watched on offense and on defense. And again, DeAndre Ayton no-showed last night. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. He's one of those young big men who think, oh, I can rest on my laurels from game 1. I don't have to really come to play tonight. I already showed you what I could do in game 1. Well, guess what? Giannis took him all apart. Yes. Giannis just had his way. And if Giannis gets downhill on even a semi-fast break, it is over because he is going to score or get to the free throw line. Now, what did he do from the free throw line? Well, by his standards, he was all-time great. He made 61% of his free throws. That means it was 11 of 18. That means he missed 7 free throws.
Right.
That's a lot of free throws to miss. As Shannon pointed out, he took 5 threes. He did make one, and it's like a shock when he makes one. You sit back and say, oh, my God, how did he do that? Well, he missed 4, and one of the 4 misses missed everything except backboard. It was nothing but backboard. And one of the 7 missed free throws hit nothing but air. These kind of shots just take the heart and the momentum out of your team. The Bucks have terrible chemistry with Giannis. Phoenix has all-time great chemistry, starting with their great head coach, great, still young head coach, going to CP3, going to Book, going to everybody chipping in. Even Jay Crowder got a hot hand last night. I love to watch them share the basketball and play basketball. I don't love watching Milwaukee with Giannis. It's just hard on my eyes because mostly it's stand and watch. And when Middleton and Holiday finally say, I think I'm going to take a turn here, they never look like their heart's in it. They look tentative to me, like I'm afraid I shouldn't be taking this shot because this is the superstar shot. And that's what happened last night. Again, they out-rebounded Phoenix, and it didn't matter. In game 1, they outshot Phoenix from 3, and it just doesn't matter because in the end, their superstar does what he does, and the rest don't go along because he's not contagious. I am sorry. That's his bottom line.
Chris, let me ask you this, Chris. What is Giannis supposed to do when the Suns' 4th and 5th best players outplay his 2nd and 3rd best players? Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder outplayed Holiday and Middleton last night. While Giannis was giving you 42-14, 4-3 and 1, they was doing that. I don't know what Giannis is supposed to do. If a team's 4th and 5th best players outplay your 2nd and 3rd best players, how am I supposed to win?
Nah, look, I'm with you. And first, let's go to the intangibles you mentioned, Skip. Okay, he's not Jordan in those, or Kobe in that regard. But that doesn't mean you can't win championships. Kareem wasn't like that. Kareem, wasn't a Jordan in terms of...
He was not, I agree.
Shaq wasn't like that, right? So Dr. J got criticism so we've seen all-time greats who weren't Jordan in that regard. Obviously, it's a spectrum, but I think Giannis certainly can win. And then I can't blame Giannis for his teammates not showing up. He's not a ball-dominant guy. He's not like LeBron or Luka where they always have the ball in their hands and you just got to find your way around them. He is a guy that, yes, he shoots more and he's the main guy on the team, but I can't blame him for the other guys not showing up. And you keep bringing up Atlanta. First of all, Atlanta, even with Trae Young, is not like a world beater.
They're not Phoenix.
But take Trae Young, right, and take Trae Young out of the mix, which he was for Game 5 completely, and he basically was for Game 6.
He was
and that's
fine.
just a mediocre team at best. So, yeah, Drew Holiday looked good against them, and Brook Lopez turned back the clock, and Middleton was the man. Step up. Kyle Kuzma can go down to the YMCA and look like Michael Jordan. What are you going to do against the best? And Middleton and Drew and Lopez have not shown up thus far. Certainly didn't last night against the step up in competition. So you can't compare what they did against Atlanta and make a grand, proclamation off that. Atlanta wasn't even a good team at that point without Trae.
Okay, but Chris, what happened to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for his first, 5 years in L.A.?
75 to 80.
They weren't very good. And guess who showed up?
Right.
This guy named Magic showed up and changed life.
Yes.
And turned it into Showtime because the leader of the team became the rookie, Magic Johnson. And Kareem needed Magic to take him along, right? Well, Giannis needs a Magic. He doesn't have a Magic.
So why are you blaming Giannis?
Okay. Well, he is by far the best player.
Shaq needed a Kobe.
And he is the by default the leader of the team, and he doesn't have any leadership intangibles. Again, we got to show that one more time. He's over there screaming at his team with 7 minutes left in the second quarter, and they're just tuning him out. I'm sorry. They're not buying it. They're not afraid of him. He's a nice kid. This isn't exactly a Jordan-esque screaming session.
He should have been like, you sorry, you ain't playing with nothing, you terrible. I need some help from you. Hey, bud, get me somebody here that want to play with me. And you do realize, hey, Chris, does he realize that when Magic Johnson rookie year, Kareem was the MVP? Kareem won 3 MVPs in the 5 years. That's what. Okay, so let's not forget that Kareem was the MVP of the league.
He was a lot like Giannis.
Yes.
And big men, you look. If you don't have
the
great ball handling, playmaking, and shooting skills, then you need a guard to win championships.
Right.
Shaq, as great as he was, needed Kobe or D Wade, and obviously had Penny early in his career.
Yep, correct.
Kareem needed Oscar or Magic. Giannis, I agree, Skip. Giannis does need that guy, that second guy who's a perimeter player who can help him win a championship. Chris Middleton's really good, but he doesn't look like that guy because he's too up and down and inconsistent.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, Giannis isn't that guy. He's not Jordan or Magic. He doesn't have that.
Skip, why do you got to go?
You were the one who elevated him into that conversation yesterday.
I'm asking you, why do you got to go all the way to that end of the spectrum?
You did it yesterday. You were comparing. You're saying why we weren't that hard on those guys when they struggled.
We weren't, Skip. Okay. I mean, I asked you, Chris, you were on here. You were on this segment, Chris. I say, well, Skip, what if Giannis gives you 40, 15, and 5? You're going to say, well, I can't say anything. He gave you 40, 12, and 4, and you criticized him.
You know what my answer was? What's the final score?
What
did they win last night? They lost by 10. They lost by double digits. They lost game 1 by 13 and this one by 10.
When I got an all-star that gave me 11 points on 5 of 16 shooting, which I told you he's more than capable of because I've seen him on 2 occasions go 12 of 44 in the first 2 games against the Nets. I saw what he did the first 2 games against Atlanta. You keep telling me about the quarters about Giannis is going to be on the court. So what do you want to do? Bench Giannis so we can see what True Holiday and Middleton can do without him? They get blown out. You and I both know that.
I stand by what I told you. They would have stolen game 1 without Giannis because it was set up for them. And what happened in game 1? Book wasn't quite ready. He went 1 for 8 from 3, and Jay Crowder went 0 for 5. It was begging to be stolen, and they needed to maintain their momentum from games 5 and 6 without Giannis, and you know the rest of the story.
Without Giannis, they got a better chance of stealing $200 million in Bitcoin. Yeah, right. They're not stealing no game without Giannis.
I'll give you this. You're damned if you do or don't, because you can argue with me, well, they just wouldn't be good enough without Giannis, and I could say, well, they would have been good enough to steal game 1, and then at least
they're not stealing no game 1 without Giannis.
I would have bet you the moon on that one. And I've been very good on those picks over the years. Go look it up. I've beaten you about 15 times with those kind of out on the limb picks. It felt like it. It smelled like an upset to me. And then Giannis at tip-off walks out there and jump balls. And I'm saying, well, that's the end of that deal.
Go ahead, Chris.
This is the plight of role players, though, Skip. Right? Giannis is the best player. I mean, just for sake of argument, I'm not really agreeing with you on this, but for sake of argument, let's say Drew Holiday is a little better without Giannis. Well, I'd rather sacrifice a little of Drew Holiday than not have Giannis. If I can choose one at their best, I'm taking Giannis. And when you play with LeBron, or you play with Durant, or you play with Steph or Harden or any of these greats, Kawhi, if you're a role player, guess what? You got to get in and fit in. And you got to figure out where you can play, how you can play off of this guy and be your best. It's not your show. It's the superstar show. So Giannis or Middleton and Drew, they have to do a better job of figuring out if indeed they're handicapped by playing with Giannis. They got to figure out the best way to play off of him. It's not his fault.
Skip Bayless is the only guy I know. a two-time MVP step on the court, and he's like, damn, you playing tonight. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and what happened? What happened? I was right again. I was right again.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you got to think outside the box every once in a while. What did you see in 5 and 6? I told you what I saw. Yes.
So the Hawks are the equivalent of the Suns.
The Hawks took
With no
the
trade.
Philadelphia 76ers all apart, left them for dead, left them in rubble.
But they weren't that good to begin with. I told you that.
Yeah, well.
They got a guy that couldn't shoot.
And they had Trey against Philly.
You got a guy that couldn't shoot.
They had Trey in Game 6. He was just fine.
No mercy.
The Bucks will return home to Milwaukee for Game 3 on Sunday and need a crucial win to avoid going down 0-3 to the Suns. After being underdogs 2 straight games, Fox Bet Sportsbook has the Bucks as 4-point favorites on Sunday. Chris Broussard is still with us. Chris, at this point, who wins Game 3?
Well, you guys know that I've got Phoenix winning this series. So now the question is, Is it a sweep? Is it a gentleman's sweep? Or can Milwaukee win? I still think Milwaukee can make this a series. I think they can create drama. I think they can make it competitive and put doubt in people's minds as to who's going to win. I've got Milwaukee taking Game 3 for several reasons. One, they've already proven that they can come back down from an 0-2 deficit. All right, they did it against Brooklyn, who most people in the league, even without Harden, you still had Kyrie and Durant. So most people thought that's the best team in the East. And they weren't deterred, the Bucks. They got blown out by 49 or down by 49, lost by 39 in Game 2, and still bounced back mentally to win 4 of the next 5 games, including Game 7 at Brooklyn. So my point is, they won't be deterred, like they won't be crestfallen being down 0-2. Mentally, they're fine. They still believe they can win. Secondly, they got the best player on the floor, and that's Giannis. I think Giannis is going to come out in Game 3 and have another big game. Like Skip said, he does 30 and 12 to 15 every night. So he's going to give you enough. I think the other guys, Drew and Chris Middleton, will step up. They're better at home. Again, you say it, Skip. It's true. Chris Middleton in the playoffs, 40% shooting on the road, 48% shooting at home. Drew Holiday, 38% on the road, 46% at home. So the supporting cast will play better. And let's face it, last night the Bucks did what we've been clamoring for them to do. They scored inside and dominated the paint. They outscored the Suns something like 54-28 in the paint. If they had just hit their jump shots, their perimeter scores, then they probably win that game. So I think that's in their favor. And then finally, Phoenix shot 50% from 3. They hit 23s. That's an aberration. Devin Booker was phenomenal, but that's not his game necessarily. So I don't see them. Mikal Bridges, is he going to shoot like that on the road? I don't think Phoenix is going to have that type of game again from 3. Certainly not in Game 3. So those are the reasons that I think Milwaukee evens this thing up and adds a little spice to the series.
I concur. And I got 5 cases.
You better be right.
I got 5 cases from somebody, Chris, that says I agree. I agree with you, everything you said. Giannis is going to be Giannis. I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis gave you a 40-20 game. But what kind of game is Holiday? What type of game will Middleton give you? That's all he needs. He needs one other guy. I thought it would be a backcourt series if Middleton and Holiday going to outplay Book and CP3. The question is now, can they outplay Crowder and Bridges? Because Crowder and Bridges outplayed them in Game 2. If you let the 4th and 5th players on another team outplay your 2nd and 3rd best players, you're not winning that game, regardless of what Giannis does. If you look at Giannis' numbers, Giannis is +4. When he's the only guy on the Bucks with a positive plus-minus. They're -27 when he's not on the court. The +4 with him on the court. My only question is, Giannis, you might have to play 44, 45 minutes a game in order for you guys to win. The situation skill where he plays in 5-minute spurts or 6-minute spurts, because when he went to the bench, they took off on him. So now you got to say, Bud, I understand that at my normal rest time, I play 7-8 minutes, but I might need to go 10, 11 minutes and take a minute, get the intermission break, and then come right back in the ball game. He's going to have to do what Kevin Durant did, and I know it wore Kevin Durant down, but you're going to lose these games taking your normal rest time. Because that's what's happening. The Suns see, oh, Giannis is out. They take off on them again. So my thing is, Skip, and I agree, Chris, they're not going to make 20 or 43s, but guess what? Your guys, the Bucks, are going to be 9 or 31. Yeah, they almost doubled them up in points in the paint. Why the hell you want to shoot 31 threes then? You killing them in the paint. Why? I don't get that. You killing them in the paint. And y'all just steady jacking up threes. Oh, let me get this three. That's what we do. Analytics. Guess what? You in the analytics department going to get fired, bud, if y'all keep taking these dumb shots. My only thing is, can he get one of these guys? It would be lovely if both of those guys came along with him. He just needs one. I believe it'll be Middleton. I believe Middleton plays like the Middleton we've seen him play. I don't know if he goes and gets 20 or 23 in a quarter because I think the Suns are too good defensively to allow that to happen. But if he can give them 25 points, along with what Giannis is going to give them, because the Suns have had 2 games where their 3 players have given them at least 81 between the 3. And that hadn't happened for the Bucks. Bucks gonna win this game 5 cases.
Really?
If you want some more, I give you another 5. If you want it. If you want it.
I got 4.5 points.
You get 4.5. You know what, Skip? I'm feeling generous. For another 3 cases, I give you an extra 1.5. I make it 6. That's how I feel confident I feel in Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Make it 8.
No. See?
Huh?
No. Skip.
You're so full of yourself.
I gave you.
You got the best player on the floor.
I gave you a 1.5. Do you know what a 1.5 is in sports? I gave you that because I feel so good about old Giannis.
I like my position already.
You won't, though.
I snookered you already, and I'm not going to rub it in because I cannot wait for Monday's show. When this man comes and sits in that seat and says, that blankety blank Chris Middleton, he disappeared on me. And that bleeping Drew Holiday, he just where was he last night? And why did they shoot 37 threes last night when they were dominating in the paint? I can't wait because you finally backed yourself right into the corner that you were trying to talk yourself out of, and you just couldn't help yourself, and now you're right back in the seat of having to count on the one deer I don't fear, and that is Giannis. I just don't fear him. You can have him. He may go for 40 and 20, and they're going to lose a close game in Game 3 to the visiting Suns, because I'm going to use Chris Broussard's argument back to him, because he said, well, wait a second. The Hawks aren't Phoenix. Neither was Brooklyn. With Harden a shell of himself and Joe Harris couldn't throw it in the ocean? And you're saying that they weren't Phoenix? Phoenix, the Suns are rising, and they're about to set on Milwaukee. They got so much momentum. They got so much better chemistry. They have such a better coach. That their stars are starring because their stars have clutch backbone to them. And Ayton is not going to disappear and just not show up the way he did last night. He'll have a big night, especially on defense.
You better.
They will relight his fire. And all of a sudden, Crowder's got a hot hand. And remember, he played college in Milwaukee at Marquette. So he's going, quote unquote, home. And I think he will stay hot. And Mikal Bridges is just a nice player. He just does everything that you'd ever want from sort of your 5th man on your starting 5. He's everywhere at every moment, doing all the dirty work, getting the offensive rebounds. I just love this team. And again, I told Shannon, you got a big leg up on me because they lost Sharpe to an ACL, and it sounded like last night, or looked like Torrey Craig got hurt. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to knock on wood for him. But that just looked bad to me. We haven't heard the outcome of it yet. But if he's gone, boy, you are dangerously thin, man. You're going to have to go to Frank the Tank Kaminsky. There's another homegrown,
Abdul
right?
Nader.
Yeah, and Abdul Nader. That's what you're going to have to do. And they're going to be thin, and their starters are going to have to play huge minutes, Kevin Durant-like minutes. Are they going to wear out? I just think they're better. I watched them go up 20 in game 1 at Phoenix, and then I watched last night, Phoenix went on a 44-24 run to go up 11 at halftime. Well, they're just showing you they're just better. So, again, look all-time. Teams that go down 2-0 or 0-2, if you want to go that way, are 31 and 4. They've only won 4 times. Right. You know, they're 4 and 31.
Yeah, Skip, we're not arguing. Yeah. We're not saying Chris and I are not saying that the Suns aren't better, but we're saying that we believe the Bucks can get one game, and this is the game that we believe they're going to get.
Well, Giannis, you're on. Show me. That's what I said. This should be your night. Big national TV Sunday evening game. It's 8 o'clock Eastern time, right? 8 o'clock Eastern. This should be your showcase game. This should be the one that you put your stamp on and say, this is why I was a 2-time MVP. This is not why I flamed out and melted down in all those previous playoff series. Right on schedule, when you tried to trust him the most, even the last 2 years against Toronto in the conference finals, against Miami last year in the bubble, what happened?
I trust him now.
Okay. Well, is he a new man?
Nope.
Yep. Okay. Here we go.
He's a new man.
New man.
He gave you that game last night. He just didn't get help. And I do think, like Shannon said, I don't know if I can count on Drew and Middleton, but I do think one of them's going to show up, probably Middleton, and have a great game. And if Drew does it, that's icing on the cake. But, Phoenix is not so much better than Milwaukee that Milwaukee can't get a game or 2. And so I still think that, look, Milwaukee they were more aggressive defensively. I thought they played better defensively against the pick and roll, kind of took away the mid-range. That's why Phoenix shot more threes, and they just happened to be hot from 3. But if they can take that away in game 3 on Sunday and Phoenix is not as hot, then we got a whole different ball game. They just need to make their own jump shots, which I think they'll do.
But Chris, think about this. When KD had that historic performance, 49, 17, and 10, who was the unsung hero that made it possible? Jeff Green had 27 on 8 of 9 from 3. Blake Griffin chipped in, I think, with 17. You see? Even though KD had that, if Jeff Green does not do what he does, it would have been all for naught. So even though Giannis gave you 42 to 12 and 4, Middleton gave you nothing, and Holiday gave you nothing. If they had given them anything, we're having a different discussion this morning, Skip.
You just bet 5 cases on Chris Middleton.
No. That's your guy.
No, that's what you did.
I should be good. Chris, this man just spent the better part of an hour telling me how great Chris Middleton is.
Without Giannis. Without Giannis. Yep.
Bad.
Well, he was. Was past tense. Not anymore.
No way.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I hope Chris Broussard is right, because I would love to see a real series take shape, but I think it's time to take out the brooms.
No.
And 82% of the time, the team that goes up 2-0 in the series, it's already done. It's already done. So those are the numbers. Those are the stats. So we're going to have to see how this one plays out Sunday.
No mercy.
Well, Conor McGregor was his usual self during yesterday's press conference ahead of his fight with Dustin Poirier. It even included Conor attempting to kick Poirier during a face-off and the normal trash talk from McGregor. The crowd seemed to be on Conor's side, so take a listen to the back and forth.
I see a man, you guys in the crowd, cheer it up, have fun, but I see a man here in front of me that I defeated, and I know I can defeat again.
I'm going to go through his head, put holes in them and take it off his shoulders. That's the goal here. He's done here. This is it for him. This is the end of the road. Even after that last fight, I don't love this anymore. I don't love doing this. He knew what was coming. He knew the smacks he took. So it's on now. Saturday night he's getting walked around that octagon like a dog and put to sleep.
He can definitely sell it.
I mean,
he can sell it. He can sell it.
Love him or hate him, he's an entertainer. Shannon, who wins the fight, Conor or Poirier?
Skip, I mean, if you just listen to Conor talk, you're just like, okay, he just finna molly-whopped over. But Skip, I just don't know, has Conor fought enough over the last 2 or 3 years? I mean, Cerrone, Poirier, and Khabib. He hadn't fought a whole lot, Skip.
What happened in 2 of those 3?
It didn't go well.
It did not go well.
It didn't go well for him. And even outside of the fighting, being active, does a man still have the same burning desire when his bank account has added several commas and several zeros to it? The thing that I admire most about Floyd Mayweather, Skip, forget that he was supremely skilled.
I agree with this point. I know what you're going to say.
Even after he made the money, after money making,
it didn't change him in the ring.
It didn't change. No. He still wanted to get up and train.
He did.
He still wanted to put the road work in. He still wanted to put the time in the gym. Does Conor still have that fight? And then this is a whole different ball. After somebody's waking me up with my $2,000 robe and tell me my breakfast is ready in bed, do I still want to, after it digests, do I want to go to the gym and get punched and kicked in the face? Do I want to do that?
Because remember, Floyd could also wake up knowing he's the most skilled defensive fighter in the history of boxing. So with those big old mitts on, those big old gloves, that he could just duck and dance and avoid any collisions with his jaw.
I don't have to put myself in harm's way.
Yeah.
I don't know how you not put yourself in harm's way once they get into the octagon and they close that door.
You're going to bleed.
Yes. So I'm going to take Poirier just because I just don't know the inactivity, and man, I just don't know how much desire is a different when you got 400 million, when you're used to fighting for something. As opposed, Skip, there's a saying that says the reason why the prey gets away from the predator more times than not is because one is running for his life.
Sure.
The other says, you know what, if I don't get this meal, there's another chance. He knows if he gets caught, there is no other chance. Conor, you got 400 million. Are you still fighting for your life? Or are you comfortable now?
Well, you know the answer. So as I watched this unfold yesterday, this time Poirier looked to me like he was unimpressed and unamused by the greatest showman this sport has ever known.
It's not even close.
No, it's not even close. Nobody gives better pre-fight hype than this guy. Listen, I was like, Ali was always my favorite growing up, and I covered so many Ali fights, and I just lived for those press conferences before the fight because he'd have rhymes going. And yet this guy eclipses in pre-fight hype even Ali because he's just crazy funny. And you just push his button and he just goes on and on and on.
All over the place.
But this is the first time I watched it, and I don't think Conor believed it, and I don't think Poirier bought it. And he admitted before the first fight, which was a long time ago, Poirier said he was starstruck. When he first got face-to-face, he just starstruck. But he realized in the second fight, which was just back in January, that, hey, he is just a man. And the mouth can't get you in the octagon, and the aura can't get you, and the charisma can't get you in the octagon. None of that helps him in the octagon. And I watched an interview earlier this week with Poirier who just said, I want to bleed in this fight. Because I don't think he likes Conor deep down, and Conor shamed him with the number of, it's like the Khabib situation, though it didn't get religious, actually. But I think he wants to give him a beating again. And to do so, he says, I'm ready to bleed. I'm ready to take him out to the deep end. And let's go let's go the distance and see who's man enough to take the beating. Because I think both of them are going to take a beating. I can't wait to watch it. But I don't love Conor's chances here because in the end, push comes to shove, it's about the hunger to win the fight despite what's being inflicted on your face. And I'm just not sure that's still in him. The way it was when he was a poor kid growing up in Ireland.
I agree, Skip. And that's the thing. I mean, and the thing is about the UFC, now, you can talk yourself into a butt cutting, but you can't talk yourself out of one. Because you can do all the talking you want to, Skip. But once you get in there, ain't a whole lot of talking going on.
Nope. And I do think Conor is a tough guy. And yet so is Poirier. And I just don't know. It's like I keep harking back to what Dana said. He said it like a year ago. Once you make $100 million, it's hard to wake up in the morning and think, I want to go get hit in the face. No, you don't.
Okay, you made $100 million when you fought Floyd. What was that, 2017? 2017, Okay, now you top that with another $300 million or $400 million. So now you got $400 or $500 million, and you still have the same desires to be the champ? Because now you don't need that to feed your family. You did all of that to feed your family. Now your kids are straight.
He's set up. Oof.
This might be his most impressive win. If he, after the inactivity, after having that plush bank account, if he were to win this fight, Skip, this might be his most impressive win to me.
Yep, I would agree with that. And yet, you don't love his chances, and neither do I.
No.
I will root like crazy for him because I'm rooting for the sport, because he is still by far the biggest draw in this sport. And I would love to see him survive this one and get another shot at that 155-pound belt, because that would be great theater.
He really won't Khabib, but I don't see Khabib coming back.
I don't either. Would I pay a lot of money to watch that again?
I don't think Khabib's coming back. He's like nothing interesting.
And I'm still not sure that guy wants to see Khabib again.
Well, he says he does.
And I know, but I just don't. Deep down, because that's like death watch.
Because, and also, Skip, once you beat a man, you get supreme confidence you can beat him again. It wasn't like, you know, he beat Poirier the first time. Yeah. So there had to be some doubt in the back of Poirier's mind, like, damn, he did beat me. Can I beat him? Oh, once I beat you? Oh, yeah. Once I beat you? Yeah.
So usually when Conor speaks before a fight, I buy it. Like, I believe he really and truly believes what he's selling.
Right.
I didn't buy it yesterday.
Well, he convinced me to buy the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if he convinced me that he going to win the fight, but he did convince me to buy the fight. So
he's going to walk him like a dog and put him to sleep. No. Not buying that.
You're not buying it? Well, you're buying the fight, but you're not buying it. We're all buying the fight.
Yeah,
we all want to see that.
No mercy.
Tomorrow, the biggest Copa America final in history is on FS1. Brazil takes on Argentina in search of Messi's first major international title. That match is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. So scan the QR code below, download the app, and answer 6 questions about the game for your shot to win $1,000. Coverage begins Saturday, 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Be sure to tune in. I am excited to see what Messi can do. But how about what Giannis did last night? He really did everything in his power to even the series with the Suns. He finished with 42 points and 12 rebounds in the loss. He also tallied 3 blocks and went 15 of 22 from the floor and 11 of 18 from the free throw line. So, Shannon, please give Giannis a letter grade for last night.
Skip, I gave him an A- because he missed 7 free throws, and he was 1 of 5 from the 3. But that was really the only flaws I could find in this game. He was ultra aggressive. He did everything. He challenged people at the rim. He had some incredible block shots. He assisted the ball as well as he could. I thought he played a perfect ball game outside of the miss and the 3-point shots, because he lets the defense off the hook when he takes 3, Skip. You let them off the hook. They're applauding you. They want you to take that shot. And I like what Ayton did, is that I'm not gonna all of a sudden jump out there on you when you make 1 3. I don't care. Do it 4 or 5 more times, and then I'll think about coming out there and then guarding you. But Skip, since the merger, there have been 4 guys to have a 40-10 finals game and lose. LeBron has done it 3 times. Shaq did it in 01. Giannis last night, and Charles Barkley in 93. So that just lets you know how a rare of occasion that this is, that what he did last night, a 40-point, 10-rebound game, and you lose. But it just goes to show you the greatness of you-know-who. He done it every time. See what happened when you ain't got to... But we talk about him. We talk about Giannis. I gave him an A-.
He lost. 3 times he lost.
That's my point. Even with 40 10s.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, it's my turn. So you said that the only flaws were his 3s and free throws.
Yeah.
And you sort of swept them under your little carpet over there like they're just minuscule blemishes, like they're little forgettables that aren't that big a deal, right?
Yeah, I docked him for even taking it. I docked him like a quarter of a point for even attempting those 3s.
Okay, because of all those misses from 3 in the free throw line, I cannot go higher than B-.
Oh, man, you stop that.
No, it's the truth, because how do we give this man a pass just because he's a sorry 3-point shooter and an even sorrier free throw shooter? So we give him a pass on his grand night of 42 and 12 because, oh, well, he's already bad to begin with. So you're accepting that he's bad, and you're giving him a break for being only so bad last night because he made 11 of 18 free throws. Well, that's only 61%. That's horrible by two-time MVP standards. Am I right? It's horrible.
No, not by his standards. It's not horrible. Well, it's actually great.
11 of 18. Well, see, you're giving him a pass. You're lowering his bar down.
No, his bar's already low, Skip.
Okay. Well, I can't lower it because by NBA final standards, if you miss 7 free throws in a game, you ain't getting any A something from me.
Well, first, if that's Kevin Durant, if that's Steph Curry, I hear your argument. Yeah. But that's Giannis. He's been terrible shooting free throws in the playoffs.
So why should we allow him to be terrible again in a finals game?
Skip, we're not allowing him. That's what he is.
Okay.
I don't allow a lion to be a lion. That's what he is. He's not a polar bear. He's a lion.
Okay, but a lion has no weaknesses that I know of. I don't know of any lion weaknesses.
Well, he can't beat an elephant.
Huh?
He can't beat a rhinoceros.
Well, he
can't beat a hippo.
He doesn't want to beat him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So why should we lower that? So he shouldn't be the king.
Well, he is the lion is the king of the jungle.
Who made him the king? Yeah. When he can't beat there's 3 animals he can't beat.
Okay, well, he doesn't even try to beat them.
Because he knows better. Okay. So I want Giannis to know he can't shoot.
So you're saying the elephant should be the king of the jungle?
King!
Really, the elephant?
Skip, look at Giannis when him on the court and when him off. They're minus 23.
Okay. Well, they've lost by a combined 23 points in games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
If you told me he scored 42-12 last night at Phoenix and they won the game, then I would give him an A something despite these major flaws in his game.
But here's the thing, though, Skip, is that what we see when guys give historic performances, normally somebody else comes along, contributes a little something.
Okay.
Tell me who contributed with him last night.
Okay, well, we've been over that, but that's not the point. We're giving him a letter grade for his performance. So he was 1 of 5 from 3. Yeah. So he took 5 3-pointers that I don't think he should have taken 1 of those.
Right, I agree.
So all 5 of them should knock him down out of the A category.
No, minus.
Because when he makes 1 3, the world sits back and says, that's incredible. Like, that's an astonishing feat that Giannis actually made 1 3. Why are you even taking 1? Why are you taking 5?
Even if he had gone 4 or 5 from the 3-point line, I would have gave him an A+, even though he missed 7 free throws. You know why? Because I don't expect him to shoot 80% from the free throw line anyway. I don't know why you do.
Well, why shouldn't any superstar, and you do call him a superstar, who's won 2 MVPs and who's a perennial all-star, why should he be allowed to miss 7 free throws and you give him a pass?
Let me ask you a question.
Because you say, well, that's just who he is. Why does he have to be that?
Can I ask you a question? Was Greg Maddux a good pitcher? A great pitcher?
Sure.
He didn't have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, no, but so what?
That's my point.
He could make the ball dance in ways I've never seen any human make the ball dance.
Well, Giannis can get to 30 points, and even though he doesn't shoot threes, or is he very good at the free throw line and still in the game? So he's found ways to do a great job without having doesn't have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Okay. What if he had made 5 more free throws and 2 more threes? What would the score have been?
But you're saying that
they would have won by a point, right? Okay. Well, I'm just saying you took them. You achieved getting to the line 18 times, and you only made 11.
Yeah.
And the world is saying, "Way to go, Giannis, because you're awful."
No.
And people pity him because the road crowds are chanting the quick counts on him.
But Skip, but you didn't do that with Shaq. When Shaq missed free throws.
Yeah, but did he lose? No, he rarely lost.
But you do realize he had Kobe and D Wade.
No,
so what are we going to do? So we just going to dismiss Kobe and D Wade?
Shaquille O'Neal for 3 straight years was the greatest offensive force I've ever seen on a court. Ever.
Skip, I'm not arguing that. But I'm saying, to minimize his second option in both locations where he won titles wouldn't be fair.
Okay.
So can we get Holiday and Middleton to be Kobe? I'm not saying I'm not saying individually, but can they give us Kobe numbers? Can they give us Kobe consistency?
Did Giannis have Shaq's intangibles, his winner's intangibles, his make big shots and big free throw intangibles? Because Shaq made key shots.
Did you remember Giannis, how he made those free throws down the stretch in the Game 7? You remember that?
At Brooklyn, you're talking about?
At Brooklyn. Yeah, is there another name for the Nets?
When Kevin Durant hit the wall after he played full games.
Why would he hit the wall?
Because
superstars shouldn't get tired.
He hit the clutch shot of shots, and his toe was barely
like you told me, did he win the game?
1/10 of
if he had won the game, I would have given him an A+.
Well,
but he didn't.
Okay, I'll give him an A- for that. I'll give this guy a B-.
Hold up.
Because there was no takeover effect here. Did he change the outcome of the game? Did he change the flow of the game?
Skip,
no.
You do realize that any time that you lose, that means you didn't take the game over, right?
Well, no, it could go to overtime. It could be back and forth. But this wasn't a back and forth game.
No.
I never thought that Milwaukee was going to win this game. I never even thought it was getting into that possibility.
But let me ask you the thing, Skip. Whether you got a reservations at Club Shay Shay or you show up at the door, you come see me, what you coming to get?
The club for losers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you might have a reservation,
it is
or
fitting.
you might just might show up at the door.
It is fitting that your restaurant is only
come on
for
in and get the hot ales. I got the hot ales.
Really?
I got a bunch of them.
Really?
Extra for you and your Cowboys, and you know who.
Well, Sunday night, I can tell you, Phoenix will not be at your restaurant.
Skip, Giannis
you're going to have to move your restaurant up to Milwaukee.
Giannis is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he might. I'll give you 40 and 20 on Sunday night, and I'll give you a hot L.
No. They're not losing. Skip, they're not getting swept.
Starting to smell like one to me.
I tell you what, hey, this is what how about we do double or nothing on the sweep?
Nope. I got to do this game. I'm going to take my 5 cases and come in and celebrate on Monday.
No. I'm coming in. You know what? I need to call Duke and see if they can make me a special.
Really?
I want a special 5-gallon of Diet Duke.
Okay.
Actually, I want a barrel. I want a barrel. Like Jameson, come in barrel, like wine and cognac come in barrel.
Yeah.
I want a barrel of Duke.
I have the only home in Los Angeles that has 4 swimming pools in the backyard. We just had to keep building them. We took up all the grass. We put in 4 swimming pools, and we filled them with all the dew I've won on this show.
But guess what?
Yeah.
It's about to be dry. It's a dry spell going on right here. Because I'm about to get it back.
Yeah. I'm
about to get it back, Skip.
Okay. I hope you're right.
No, you don't hope
No,
I'm right.
I hope we have a series. I do.
Oh, we're going to have a series.
Because if you're wrong and I'm right on Monday, we're not going to have a series.
No,
because it's going to be 3-0.
No,
And maybe you'll be telling me Giannis will lead a comeback.
I still have the Suns winning the series, but I got the Bucks winning game 3.
I just love it that I get to root for the Suns for once on Sunday night.
No mercy.
Devin Booker finished last night with a game-high 31 points that included 9 in the fourth quarter on 3 of 4 shooting from beyond the arc. Booker has averaged over 25 points a game the past 3 seasons. And as always said, his idol and mentor was Kobe Bryant. Chris Broussard back with us. Chris, how close is Devin Booker to Kobe?
Well, look, there's some similarities. Both of them obviously are born scorers. Both of them live and thrive in the mid-range game. And both of them have the killer instinct. Now, I don't think Devin has it necessarily to the level of Kobe. I mean, there's very few that have. But I think he's close. And obviously, he's clutch. You saw last night him hitting those big threes. So he's clutch like Kobe. Where some differences are, actually, Devin is even a more efficient scorer. And he's a better three-point shooter, which is not that surprising considering, today's game and the way it's played. He's not as athletic as Kobe. He doesn't attack the rim with the same ferocity and relentlessness as Kobe, and therefore he doesn't get to the foul line as much as Kobe did. And obviously, he's not the defender that Kobe was. Maybe he'll grow into being a better defender. He's only 24, but I don't see him becoming what Kobe was defensively. Kobe, 12-time all-defense. Now, I do think Devin Booker, barring injury and stuff like that, I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. For the next 9-10 years, he's going to average 25 or more points, somewhere around there. And maybe he'll have a ring within the next week or two. And so those are Hall of Fame credentials. He's probably going to be a perennial all-star going forward now, although the West is tough with all those guards out there. Right. But I don't think, even if he's a Hall of Famer, that he'll be in the class of Kobe. I mean, Kobe is on the cusp of the GOAT conversation. Not for me. I don't know if you two have him in the conversation, But a lot of players of this generation, the Steven Jackson generation, they think Kobe, a lot of them think he's better than LeBron. A lot of them put him in the conversation with Jordan. I don't see Devin getting to that point. Like, I've got Kobe as the second best shooting guard ever. Jordan, Kobe, Jerry West, D. Wade. That's my top 4 in that order. If Devin could challenge D. Wade, I think that'd be phenomenal. I don't know that I even see that, but that is probably where I see his ceiling. I don't think he gets into that Kobe class, which is obviously rare. Are you talking about top 10, top 12 player of all time?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm like, okay, is he close to Kobe in the same age as Kobe, or close to Kobe as once Kobe was done and his resume is done, he's going to be comparable to Kobe? Because I think we're talking about two different things. I don't think he's going to reach Kobe, because I agree with you. Now, I don't think he's in the GOAT conversation, and the reason why I didn't put him there, it's hard to be the GOAT with one regular season MVP. And that's the only knock that I really have against, because he checks all the other boxes. Multiple MVP, multiple championships, multiple final MVPs, multiple first team All-NBA. I mean, when you talk about multiple, we're talking about at least 10, 18-time All-Star, 4-time All-Star game MVP. But so I just need to know what we talking. We talking about Kobe at 25? Does people realize that Kobe at 25, what Kobe had accomplished at 25, Skip? Kobe had already been to 4 finals, had won 3 championships. Kobe was arguably one of the 2 or 3 best players in the NBA at 25. I don't think we're saying Devin Booker is one of the 2 or 3 best players in the NBA. Are we saying is he even top 10, Chris? Would you say Booker's a top 10 player right now? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't say he's top 10.
So I don't on the rise?
Yes.
Yes.
But Skip, I don't think he can get, I don't think he's close to Kobe, and I don't think he'll finish close to Kobe. That's not a knock on his talent, because I think he's phenomenal. But I think we're selling Kobe short now.
No, we're not. No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
By the way, just for the record, Kobe definitely was better than LeBron. Definitely. Well, you know that.
Stop.
I mean, come on.
Stop.
Just, and I did like Chris's ranking. I agreed with Chris's ranking. But the point is, does Devin Booker have some Kobe in him? And the answer is yes, he does.
Yes.
And
right.
I have always loved this kid's basketball backbone. He has clutch toughness to him. He's 24, going on 44 in maturity, and I don't know where it came from. He's got, as they say, an old soul. You watch him speak after the game, and it's like he's a coach, you know, like he's Monty Williams speaking after the game, because he's so in command of the perspective of what really happened in the game and what is about to happen. And all of his intangibles, the killer will, the big shot taking and making, right place, right time, it all works for me. And I see only a 24-year-old player who's getting nothing but better in all of his deficient categories, because he has not, as Chris pointed out, been much of a three-point shooter, only 34% this year. But I saw last night some shocking range, and he shot it effortlessly from distance, from 4 or 5 feet beyond the three-point line. And I said, that will only get better for him. And I believe next year he'll shoot 36%, and by the end of his career, there'll be years where he'll shoot close to 40%, because he's such a gifted, natural shooter, and the technique, the motion is so pure and so sweet to watch that I know that'll get better. His rim attacking just gets better and better. Remember the play that decided game 1 at Phoenix? Well, yeah, game 1, It was Clippers game.
Oh, you're talking about Clippers when he went to the basket and dunked it on
Remember when he looped all the way around the formation, so to speak, and he lost Rondo and just went and attacked and tomahawked it. It ended the game, basically. Well, I'm seeing him attack more, and I agree with Chris. He's not quite as athletic as Kobe, but he's still pretty athletic, and he's 6'5". Kobe was 6'7".
Right. But the thing is, but Kobe, we're talking about Kobe as a complete product.
Yeah.
A finished product.
I got it.
This kid isn't finished yet. I mean, early on, can we let him get to like year 10? What is this, year 5 for him? We got to let him get a little...
6. He's finishing 6, yeah.
Chris, we got to let him get a little further down the road before we start breaking. Kobe?
Well, I mean, it is his idol and mentor.
I get that, but we're talking about Kobe as the finished product.
Sure. No, I got it.
So are we talking about Kobe 6 years in, or we talking about Kobe the finished product? Man, come on.
We're talking about how close do you think he could ever come to Kobe at his max out? Well, you look at Kobe's accolades, 18-time All-Star. And,
a 9-time defensive first team.
Okay, that's the other thing. Devin Booker is surprising me. He ranks 4th in the playoffs in defensive win shares. I will bet you by next year he'll start making all defense teams. I will bet you. It may be 3rd team next year, but I bet you before his career's over, he will A, win a scoring title, and B, be 1st team all defense. I will bet you. And when Kobe won his only MVP in, 2008. Yeah, he went 28-6-5, not sensational numbers, but he was 1st team all defense.
Yes.
So I believe Book can win a scoring title and an MVP. I'm sorry, 1st team all defense, and that would contribute to him winning an MVP. I believe he can.
No,
I think Skip, he'll become a better defender because Monty Williams would demand it.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to make Devin a better defender and appreciate that side of the floor more. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he makes all defense, but he will be a good defender, I think. For him to really become a conversation soon, they pretty much probably have to certainly win this one and be close next year. Like, go out in the conference finals in a tough 7 or get to the finals and lose or win.
Yep.
Like, these are the types of things that have to start happening. Then when Chris Paul is clearly older and fading away, Book has to keep them in contention when it's his team.
Right.
Here's the thing, too, about Kobe. When Kobe was in the league, even younger, there are only a handful of guys on the perimeter that I think were at his level. I put Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter. I thought they were right there with Kobe as far as potential, athleticism, all that. But neither of them had the killer will that Kobe had.
Nope.
All right, Iverson was there. He didn't have the size. LeBron comes along, and obviously he's there. But that's only a couple of guys. When you look at Devin Booker, I mean, first of all, you got the generation ahead of him, Steph, Damian Lillard, who are still young. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron, these guys are still playing in their prime.
Kyrie Harden.
And they're above him. Kyrie, right. And there's a few others I probably left out. Then you got his era, Trae Young, Jason Tatum.
Luka.
Guys that are coming up.
Luka.
I'm sure there's others off the top. Luka, of course. Luka's the best, I think. So it's a different game. We're seeing better perimeter players now. More of them dominate the game versus big men. So I don't think there's as big of a separation between Devin and the other elite perimeter players like there was with Kobe and the other elite perimeter players in his era.
Because you said it, though, Skip. What separated Kobe? Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, and the other guys, Iverson. It was defense. All those guys could put the ball. Tracy McGrady led the league in scoring. I think he averaged 32 points a game one year. We know what Iverson could do. Iverson won 4 or 5 scoring titles.
Kobe just won 1.
Kobe just won 1. But couldn't nobody lock you up like Kobe could, though.
Agreed.
Kobe could go get 50 and then hold the other guy to 20. So look, I think Booker's going to be sensational. He's special. But, man, Kobe, Kobe, that's a whole different. I'm gonna slow down on that one. I'm gonna let y'all take the plane. Y'all go ahead on that one. I'm gonna meet y'all there a little later, but I'm walking. Chris, I'm gonna walk.
I just need Devin Booker to be Kobe-esque on Sunday night. You know what? They're going to rename the day on Sunday. It's going to be Sun's Day on Sunday.
I knew you had an ulterior motive. But I'm going to let you and Skip. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and take the flight to that destination, Chris. Yep. I'm going to walk. I'm going to meet y'all there.
I'm walking with you. I'm walking with you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much for joining us.
No mercy.
Well, on Tuesday, Judge, Tatis, Ohtani, and baseball's finest face off in a mile-high midsummer slugfest from Coors Field in Denver. It's the 2021 MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard Tuesday on Fox. So Aaron Rodgers is slated to play in a celebrity golf tournament this weekend. He's been busy playing golf, and that in California. But he is a part owner of the Bucks, and he has been regularly spotted courtside at Bucks games in Milwaukee. So, Shannon, do you think you will see Aaron Rodgers courtside Game 3 or 4 in Milwaukee?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is giving it a whole lot of thought. I don't really think his mind is back in Wisconsin. Now, let's just go on out on a limb, Skip, and say I don't think Aaron Rodgers' mind. Obviously, he knows the Bucks are in the finals, but I don't think he's giving it a whole lot of thought about going back because there are opportunities he could have gone back. You know, they did play the Eastern Conference Finals. They had games in Milwaukee and the semifinals and things of that nature. If I had to bet, I said if he's going to a game, it would probably be Game 4. I think right now he's focused on doing very well in this tournament in Lake Tahoe. And if he plays like he did the other day, where he beat the brakes off somebody off of you-know-who.
Phil Mickelson.
No. If he plays as well as he did, what was that, Tuesday?
Yep,
if he plays as well as he did Tuesday, he's gonna finish in the top 10.
He struck it very well.
He did.
And in the end, he putted it very well. So I will give you that. But I completely disagree with your notion he's not giving this any thought. I believe he's given it a ton of thought because this is a huge moment for him. He is a minority. I know it's a very small minority. Yeah. He's like a 1% owner.
That's okay.
But his heart is with obviously the Bucks. And he's when he bought the share back in 2018, he said, I love basketball, and I love this natural connection to the state I love. He's always pledged allegiance to the state of Wisconsin.
He liked Wisconsin. He's a Wisconsinite at heart.
Okay, well, he said, this is the state in which I grew up, and I believe he thinks of himself, he became a man in the state of Wisconsin. Yeah. Okay, so this is a momentous occasion. This is a home NBA Finals game for the first time since, when was Kareem? 74. I remember that year well. So I believe he's very torn about should I get, because Game 3 is the game because they're down 0-2, obviously. Right. And what message would it send if he shows up for Game 3? And again, with private jet travel, you can get there pretty quickly.
I don't think he's going to impact anybody, him being on the sidelines or
Come on, he is a spotlight diva. He would love this.
He ain't no spotlight diva.
This is an incredible opportunity. He's a recluse. Okay, he is not a recluse. He is the opposite of that. And what did he do when he gave his interview ahead of the match? What T-shirt did he wear? He wore a T-shirt that said, I'm offended. Remember that? Yeah. Okay, you don't think he would love the opportunity to show up at a Bucks game? The sports world would be buzzing about, what does this mean? Is he pledging allegiance back to Green Bay?
He said it. He said, he hadn't given a whole lot of thought about when he's going back to Green Bay.
He's given it hours of
thought.
Yep.
Didn't the man tell you he'd been working on himself? He said he was dealing with some things. He said, I've been working on myself. Working on myself, which will allow me to divorce you, Green Bay.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I don't think he's ready to divorce Shailene Woodley because they just got engaged. Yeah. So I could see him bringing Shailene sitting courtside to lend his star power to a night of nights in which the Bucks climb back into this series.
I think Shailene, she strikes me as more Colorado outdoors. They do it more so than Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, that doesn't mean she can't go with him to a game.
You can go with him in Denver and go to the Nuggets game.
Well, speaking of Denver, it would be just like Aaron to show up at the Bucks game wearing an orange polo shirt. That's to send the subliminal message.
Only you would see it as a subliminal message. Well, maybe he just got dressed.
Oh, I was dressing in the dark this morning. I accidentally pulled out this orange polo.
It might be blue. What if it's blue? Okay, Skip.
It could be. It could be a lot of things, but it should be Bucks colors.
But I don't believe they're going to need Aaron Rodgers to be up front court, center court. I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think Giannis will be Giannis. I think Chris Middleton plays well, and I think they win, and they get me 5 cases because they cover.
Really? All I know is that my man, Lil Wayne, who puts CP3 in his comfort zone like nobody can, has already secured courtside tickets for Sunday night at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's all I know for sure, and that's why I made this bet with you, because I love my chances with Wayne courtside for Chris Paul in Milwaukee.
I mean, hey, nephew, let your boy go on down there. I'm going to get me a couple of bratwursts. I just want a couple of brats and come on back home. That's
really?
it. Yeah.
And some cheese
not really, but okay.
Well, you could go because I think they would turn right around and be right back in L.A. in time for you to come do the show.
I don't want to. Skip.
Yeah.
I like to be in the confines of my own home. I like just sitting there, me and my little boys. We just be watching the game. They be hanging. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to sit courtside if Wayne needs anyone to go with him. Oh, but what if he was sitting next to Aaron Rodgers because he's a Packers fan? That could get interesting. How about that dynamic?
I can tell you, Wayne is on fire to see if Aaron shows up.
I like that. I like that.
Because
we might have to get a report
Wayne would take that as a very positive sign that Aaron is returning to Green Bay.
In case he doesn't show up.
Huh?
In case he doesn't show up.
No, I'm not. I have no idea.
That's the whole point about betting the case.
For either 3 or 4?
Yeah, I said if he's going to show up, he'd show up to 4. He's not showing up to 3. I bet a case on that.
I don't know because he's playing in a golf tournament. What if he has a great weekend and he's in the final twosome or whatever they play?
Matter.
I think they play 2 on Sunday. Well, then he might not be able to do it on time.
No?
It's a threesome on Sunday.
Huh? I don't think it's a threesome. It might be a twosome. I think they play 2.
I don't know. You can get places.
Well, I mean, he's going to be at least. I know who won't be, Cole. Why you got on playing those?
We're moving on. We're moving on.
No mercy.
Well, the Tampa Bay Lightning repeated as Stanley Cup champions this week, and the Trophy's Twitter account tweeted at Tom Brady saying, quote, FYI, I'm too heavy to throw. Brady responded with his own tweet saying, I don't know, everything feels a bit lighter after some tequila, followed by the laughing, crying emoji. Tom loves that one. Yes, congrats to the Lightning. Once again, we're talking hockey. Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you love Brady's response?
I like it. Old tequila Tom.
Would you give it a 10?
I give him an 8. I give him a 9.5.
9.5?
I give him a 9.5.
Wow,
yeah.
That's big for you.
And but you're not throwing that Stanley Cup.
No?
You're not throwing that Stanley Cup.
I don't know what Brady pulled off. This might be the greatest throw of anybody's career, right?
Yeah, but I think the Stanley Cup might be a little heavier, Skip, than that Lombardi Trophy. But I can assure you, after they get a couple of shots in tequila, somebody might try it.
That's just crazy.
I'm surprised no one has tried it already. They might have. I mean, he gets to tour everywhere, so somebody's thrown it.
Look at this throw. Is that not the greatest throw of his career for sure?
No, probably. He probably got a couple more that's better than that. That was a great catch, though.
Is Brady turning into the social media goat also? I think he is, because that was clever.
He tried to build up his followers, Skip. He got a late start to IG.
Okay, well, I think he's going to eclipse LeBron, not in numbers, but in creativity and cleverness.
Yeah,
right?
LeBron just his stuff. He don't really do stuff like, he don't put no memes or anything like that out.
LeBron takes stands on social media.
But, boy, I'm the meme king.
Just so you guys know, the Stanley Cup weighs 35 pounds. I think it's just the size that would be a bit more complicated. Oh, and the vote parade's Monday. Maybe Tom shows up. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy Game 3. We'll be all over it on Monday. See you then.